Hey, folks, this clip is brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. For better coverage, better rates, and better service, go to fbhp.com/ATOZ. That is Farm Bureau Health Plans. Now let's talk a little recruiting. Mike Matthews, five-star wide receiver from Georgia, committed to Tennessee last week. Huge pickup. And I'll just throw it to you. Your thoughts on that, Zach, since we haven't discussed it yet.
I mean, when was the last time Tennessee got like a super elite, not good, but elite, top of the line wide receiver recruit? It feels like it's been quite some time. Maybe Cordero Patterson. I can't remember how he was rated with that 2012 class. Justin Hunter, maybe in that range. Like, it's been a while since they've had one of the top guys in the nation, and you throw that into this offense. I mean, that's just mind blowing to think about what Josh Heupel and Joey Hosley and the staff can do with a talent like Mike Matthews, because they've had talented guys. Jalen Hyatt was a 4-star. Brew McCoy's a former 5-star that kind of faded a bit and didn't really live up to expectations and went through some legal troubles and kind of finding his way now again at Tennessee. But this is a guy that's like Jamar Chase type talent. I mean, that's the type of talent you're getting here. What in the world can Nico and this guy do together? I mean, is it going to be, I'm not going to say it's like 2019 LSU type stuff, but they're getting to that level of talent offensively that they're going to have. I mean, and the scheme works. In theory, it should only get better the more talent you have. So it's really exciting to think about, I think. And to win that battle, to go into Georgia and to get that guy to commit to Tennessee, it says a lot about what Tennessee's doing. It says a lot about the belief that somebody like Mike Matthews, who clearly has his eyes on the NFL. I mean, he's the type of talent that he wants to be a first-round draft pick. He wants to be a top 10 pick. I mean, he's that type of talent. He thinks Tennessee can do that. I think that disproves a lot of the narratives about how recruits view Tennessee's offense in the NFL too, because if he didn't think Tennessee couldn't get him there, he would go, LSU or Georgia, Clemson, wherever, any of these other programs that have a recent tradition of getting players there. Maybe not Georgia. They haven't done that well with wide receivers, but they have put a few there.
Yeah, guys absolutely notice that. They notice the NIL money that's, flowing through school. They notice, obviously, just winning. They notice how much wide receivers are touching the ball in a given offense. Heupel is going to get you the ball, and Mike Matthews wants to get the football in his hands at the college level. And look, I haven't watched every single offense in college football, but I think you'd be hard-pressed to find an offense that's going to get you the ball more than this one if you're really good. I mean, obviously, you have to be really good. The rotation is short. You have to end up being, one of those few guys that makes it into the rotation. But if you are, you're going to get that football a lot, and you're going to be a star, and you're going to be Jalen Hyatt winning Biletnikoff awards. And, yeah, dudes notice all of that. And I think this past year completely flipped the script. If Tennessee doesn't have the season they just had, they do not get Mike Matthews, period. NIL can only go so far. Dudes love money, but Georgia's giving out just as much money as Tennessee is. And to get a guy out of the state of Georgia, and you just know that it's off of the pedigree of all of the things that you just accomplished, is just it's really unreal. I mean, it's something that I'm not sure I saw Tennessee doing, at least for a very, very long time, until this thing was fully rebuilt. When, speaking of from when Heupel showed up, you just kind of felt like it's going to take us a really long while. And suddenly 11-2 season, this dude works miracles. And now he's working miracles on the recruiting trail, getting 5-star wide receivers because he's running the best offense in America. He's a crazy innovator. Austin Stanley, actually, we talked about this in our video this past Friday. Go watch it, A to Z Sports National YouTube channel. And he interviewed Paul Feinbaum, and Paul Feinbaum, being the Tennessee alum and Tennessee fan that we all know he is, obviously. He's orange runs in his veins. But he called, in that interview with Austin, he called Josh Heupel a genius and said that he's something along the lines of the best offensive mind in college football.
Yeah, and said he's the best play caller.
Yeah, and I think he's exactly right. And so that is going to get you recruits like Mike Matthews. Yeah, Tennessee needs some guys on defense. There's no doubt about that, and they have a number of them in this class. But you had an opportunity with Kai Bates tonight to get a guy on defense, and you missed out. That's going to happen with the way that Heupel operates this defense. But with this offense, I mean, this thing just it is the best marketing in the world to just put on the tape of Heupel's offense for a recruit and just go, hey, look at this. This is what we do here. And you want to be a part of this. We know you do, because you're going to put up a ton of yards and you're going to get to the NFL and you're going to win awards. And hopefully you can also win championships, but that still has to come. But it's just crazy. What an incredible pickup. I don't think you honestly, you can't say enough about it. It's crazy. And I'm glad to see this, maybe the wide receiver maybe coming back around. No, you think so?
I mean, it's not like Tennessee hasn't been putting wide receivers into the NFL. They haven't done it like on a level like LSU, where LSU just dropped a couple of superstars, into the NFL, Justin Jefferson and Chase from day one, or Clemson with a few guys. But they've had guys that have went to the NFL and had decent careers and stayed on rosters and been a key part of offenses, like Marquez Callaway and Jawan Jennings and Josh Palmer and Cordero Patterson, still, hanging on in the NFL for, 10 years now. He came out in 2013. I mean, he stuck around and made quite a career out of it, even though he wasn't necessarily a superstar player that we thought he might be. So it's not like they haven't been putting these guys in the NFL, but I think now we might see them kind of at a higher clip getting there, which will only help recruiting. If Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman go out there, and Velus Jones, who was drafted the previous year, if they can go out there and really put up some solid seasons this year, and Hyatt, first day of practice today, is like an aside. I saw a clip of him taking an end around and outrunning every Giants defender on his way to the end zone. Like, the speed plays. It's legit. It's not just because he was going against college kids, many of which are also in the NFL now. He's got the speed to really outrun some NFL defenders. So he has a chance to really have a decent rookie season and contribute. You did a few of those guys to contribute, a few of those guys on the defensive side of the ball, maybe like Byron Young that's with the Rams. And this NCAA stuff being in the rearview mirror, like Elias mentioned there in the comments, it really could change some recruiting.
Farm Bureau Health Plans has been serving Tennesseans for over 75 years, and much has changed in Tennessee over the years, but some has stayed the same. Farm Bureau Health Plans has always valued personal relationships, especially when it comes to good health and good service. Plan on Farm Bureau Health Plans for health, dental, and vision. For better coverage, better rates, and better service, go to fbhp.com/ATOZ or walk into one of their 200 plus locations across the state of Tennessee. That is fbhp.com/ATOZ. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Absolutely. Great point from Elias. He says, curious to see how much losing that looming NCAA shadow might change things in recruiting. You're going to have some big opportunities coming up. So you had Edwin Spillman. So he also committed. Let's not gloss over that. That's a big defensive pickup right there for Tennessee. On some services, I want to say he was the number one player from the state of Tennessee. I was trying to look. Let's see, on 3 only, he was rated as a 90, unanimous 4-star across all services. He was the number 7 player from the state of Tennessee on 3. But big pickup there at the end of this past week. You have Kamarion Franklin, who said on Twitter, it feels like things are trending Tennessee's way. Ish. He's one of those it seems like he's kept it a little close to the vest. He's also kept his commitment date close to the vest. He's just said soon. It's coming soon. We're not sure exactly when, but that is one to keep on the radar, because would be a huge pickup for Tennessee. And maybe to Elias's point there, maybe that's what you see, where finally these players know, like, okay, I know there's no mystery here. We're not going to get a postseason ban, and we're not going to have any problems like that. I mean, ultimately, that punishment from the NCAA is going to be largely meaningless to Tennessee, outside of some vacated wins on the record books, which that's the stupidest punishment of all time, because we all watch those wins happen. But regardless, there's a real corner to be turned here. Now let's talk about what happened tonight. Kai Bates, who it was kind of down to Tennessee and LSU, it seemed, defensive back. Tennessee wanted him. Obviously, you need all the help that you can get, but he chooses LSU. Any thoughts on that one? I mean, let's not dwell on it too long, but what did you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can ever get too mad at a coach for missing on an out of state guy. It's different with in state guys that you're really going after. Those are ones you have to get. It looks really bad when you miss on those guys because then you got to watch, T. Higgins go off in the NFL for the rest of his career and know what could have been. Losing a guy from Florida to LSU, I mean, it's going to happen. It's more LSU territory down there than Tennessee. They border Florida. Brian Kelly did a really good job in his first year at LSU. I mean, you can't deny that. I was kind of surprised it got off to a rocky start, but he righted the ship. It seems like he's kind of finding his own way down there. He's shown a lot more personality than he did at Notre Dame. We've heard from behind the scenes that he's a lot more likable and personable within the building than you would think. He was a little more buttoned up at Notre Dame. So he's going to be a formidable recruiting opponent. He's going to be tough to go up against these next, 5 to 10 years where you're hoping that Tennessee's going to be in the mix for national championships. Nick Saban's 71. His time is coming to an end at some point. Maybe that starts this year, maybe not. I don't know, but it could be LSU, on that side of it won't be that side much longer with the divisions going away, but they could be one of the villains here for Tennessee, set up a nice little rivalry because they'll be playing them every other year. So I don't think it's anything to be worried about. It's disappointing because you wanted that kid, but it's just one of those things that happens. I mean, Tennessee's going to win some over LSU too, and they have.
Absolutely. They were never going away. They've done LSU.
Their talent. I mean, you got too much in-state talent there. Ed Ogeron is one of the most unorganized, just fly-by-night head coaches that we've ever seen in college football. And Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and those guys, won him a championship, and most of that talent was from Louisiana, outside of Joe Burrow and a few others.
Yeah, it's a lot like Florida, a lot like Georgia, a lot like Texas. I mean, it's just all, and of course they get a ton of guys out of Texas too. They're right there, up against Texas. So lucky them. But you lose out on that one, and just win more than you lose there. But and also you look. Caleb Beasley, Boo Carter, if he ends up playing on the defensive side of the ball, Marcus Gorey, Jordan Burns, Idris Farouk, all those guys either 4 stars or borderline 4 stars. And so I think you're fine overall. I'm not crying any tears over not getting Kai Bates. The defensive back haul in this coming class is good.
And you've always got the portal if you need to add a guy or two.
Portal's there.
Added Gabe Judy Lawley this offseason, who I think probably isn't being kind of talked about enough. I think he could be a real difference maker in this defense. I mean, you can go you can address needs. It doesn't always have to come through high school recruiting. I know that's the way Josh Heupel and them would prefer to do it. That's the way that you can tell they don't just go crazy in the portal. They don't chase after every big name. They're real select about who they bring into this program. But they've shown they're willing to address some needs through the portal if they need to.
Absolutely. It's going to be all right. This is going to be a good recruiting class.
Yeah.
At this point, unless the thing just falls apart somehow. But if you just keep the guys you have now, it's a good class. So
I mean, you keep landing top 10 talent. Josh Heupel did not have top 10 talent when he came to Tennessee. He didn't even have a full roster, and he really hasn't had the luxury of his own classes and top 10 classes 3 years in a row or something to really build on yet. So, I mean, I know it's cliche to say that the sky's the limit, but it really does feel that way with everything that they've had to deal with in these first couple of years.
Absolutely. Should we can talk about just a recruiting rumor here from Elias. He just said Ryan Wingo is apparently in town. Can neither confirm nor deny on my part. That would be big. Maybe he saw that Mike Matthews hopped in the boat and he said, maybe I do need to go to Tennessee. I don't know, because it wasn't, I believe, the sort of wisdom around him was that it had turned to Georgia for Wingo, right? So Elias Gray, he said Ryan Callahan had said this. Again, I don't.
Well, that's probably legit then, yeah.
That's 247. And apologies to Callahan if that was like if that was behind paywall stuff. I bet it was behind paywall stuff. Somebody in our comments said it, Ryan. Please don't get mad at me. You're a cool guy.
If you can add Wingo or Amar Jefferson to this class at wide receiver,
Jefferson,
my goodness, that would be a lethal combination in 2024, 2025. Wow, Nico's junior year. I mean, look out.